Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'll be showing you what I think is the best setup for a Flask application. Let's get started. Alright, let's get started. So first, if you don't know what Flask is, I have an entire short explained video on it. I'll leave it in the description, maybe a card up in the corner somewhere. But I have a full video explaining what Flask is and, well, how to set it up. But in this video, I'm not going to be setting it up that way. I'm going to be using the application factory way. What application factory is actually, I'll create an app.py file to show you. Is that when you create a function and call it create app, and you instantiate Flask app here, like create app here, and then you return app here, and in between creating the app and returning the app, you can do some app setup. So app setup, this is basically how application factory works. And then you come here when you're done with it, you do app equals create app, and then you can use a different method of running it. Like, so you use app.run. Also, let me just how do you zoom in VS Code? Hold on. How do you do this? Okay, I've now figured out how to zoom in. So yeah, you see we have the function here, and then we can use app.run, the app.run function, to run it. So first of all, you want to create a folder and just call it website. And inside of this website, you want to create an init.py file. Oh, what? So this just makes this website folder a Python module. So before we use application factory, first thing I want to do is create a virtual environment. So I'm going to bring up the terminal here if it ever wants to work. Okay, this is terminal. So what I like to use is use the virtual env command. And what virtual env or virtual env is, it's a Python module you can install using pip install virtual env. And what virtual env is essentially like, it's like its own sort of like place where you can put your own Python modules for specific websites. So let's say you're using something like Node.js. You'll know that you'll have a Node modules folder. Well, virtual env is essentially like having a Node modules folder in Python. So virtual env, venv, verbose, because I like to see all the output from creating the virtual environment. And while it's doing that, I can write some code. So I could say from Flask import Flask. There's acting a bit slow. Next, I can create a function and call it create app. And inside of this create app function, I'm going to create a new Flask app. App equals Flask underscore name underscore, and like I said, we're just going to return app. There it is, all done. It has also finished creating the virtual environment, so I can do stuff in there. So I am now going to save this underscore, and down here I'm going to activate the virtual environment. So venv/script/activate. I've activated the virtual environment. I can now install Flask because that is the only dependency I need. Alright, while it's doing that, I can set my interpreter for Python. So what I can do is open up and select this CircuitPython interpreter thing, enter interpreter path, find. Now I can get out of this folder into venv scripts and then select python.exe and select interpreter. And it's just finished installing Flask. So now what I can do is go into this file and then say from website import create app. App equals create app. And if underscore name underscore equals underscore main underscore then app.run debug equals true. So let me quickly explain this code. We are importing the create app function from website because again we created create app in here. We are creating a new variable and assigning it to create app and running the function. And then this if underscore name underscore equals underscore main underscore thing just means that if we run the file from, let's say, the terminal and we're not importing it, let's something like import app, then app.run debug equals true. This just means that run the app and every single time we make a change to a Python file, reload the app. So that's basically what this means. So I can now save the file. It's just going to do some auto formatting here. Formatter black is not installed. Okay. So now we can just come in here and say python app.py. And now, oh wait, oh I know what that problem is. You probably won't get this error. This is just because I have another Flask app. So what I can do is just change the port. Space something like 5001, and that should fix the problem. So python app.py. And there, I can now select this link, copy it, tab to a new browser window. So, right the window here. Computer being a little bit slow. Oh, there it is. So we can now just paste the link in here. And we got 404 not found. This is good. If you see this, this is good. That just means we haven't created any routes yet, or endpoints. So how do we create an endpoint? Well, you would probably come into this __name__.py file and do as end a video. Use app.root / create a function. Maybe you call something like index. And then return whatever you want to see in the browser, like hello world. And this would work. Like, as you can see, I can save this. I don't know, format it for me, just gotta give me some time. And there, so now it's going to reload. And the app is now running again, so I can open the window up again. Refresh. And we get hello world. So yes, this would work. However, if we're using Application Factory, this is the incorrect way to do. Just cut that. To do this, to create routes, what we need to do is use a blueprint. What a blueprint is like another Flask app that we can attach to another one. Let me show you. So we're going to create a new file, call it routes.py. Inside of routes, what I can do is say from Flask import blueprint. And I can now say routes is equal to blueprint. Text the name, call it routes. This should be the exact same name as the file as well as the variable. And then import name, exact same thing as when we put underscore name underscore into the Flask app. If you didn't put that, then it should be whatever you put in there. So underscore name underscore. And now I can repaste this. I might have some indentation errors. And instead of using app.root, I can use the routes.root. Now, what exactly does this do? Well, a blueprint is kind of like a Flask app to add on to an existing one, meaning that we can create routes in here and apply them to here. How do you do that? Well, first, you have to save this file. Did not mean to do that. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And even though I didn't import it, it's still detected a change. So that's fine. Inside here, I can now import it. So when you use the Application Factory, you want to import from within the function. So to say from dot routes import routes. And how do I add blueprint? Well, I use app.register blueprint. And I pass in the blueprint, which is routes. We can even add a URL prefix, meaning that prefix. So what a URL prefix is like something like, I don't know, /routes, and that means that any route that I create in here will be prefixed with /routes or /route. So I'm gonna leave this at / because we'll want this to apply to the entire Flask app. So now if I save this and I now open up this once it reloads, and I don't know why it's taking a while to reload. Okay, there you go. So now I can reopen up this window. Wait a bit. I can now refresh. And we get hello world because we added that hello world route into this blueprint. So now we can add some more routes. Maybe, I don't know, something like, oh yeah, let's have a template. So templates work exactly the same. We can add like a template here, template. Yeah, import render template. So this works exactly the same as a normal Flask app. We can just type in, render template index.html, or rather template. And all we have to do is go into this website folder, create a templates folder. Templates. If I can spell templates, I can now create a template .html, and also VS Code trick. What you can do is press exclamation mark. Okay, well this would normally trigger something called emit. And what this would do is it will automatically fill in the HTML. So sad that it isn't working here, but it's fine. HTML. Create the head tags. Also, if you don't know what I'm typing out right now, I would recommend you watch the first video in my introduction to web development series. I'm probably not going to finish it, but in the first video I explain what these tags are. So whenever these had to be empty, I'm just going to include hello world. Oh, and now it works. Wait, does emit work now? Okay, there. So let me show you what emit does. I can do this, press enter, and it essentially gives me an entire HTML document. And since I did emit, my computer has slowed down for some reason. Okay, there. So now you can see we have HTML right here, but I already have some HTML running out, so I can get rid of that. Save this file. I can now reopen the web browser, refresh, no changes here, and go to /template. I put template /template and put hello world. That's what I put in here. Yeah, so yeah, hello world. Exact same thing as the index. So that is how I like to set up my Flask apps. Of course, an additional tip, you can create more blueprints, and you just have to import them. You have to import them this way, and you can have different blueprints for different things you can use. For example, you can have a route blueprint, but also an API blueprint for stuff that you don't necessarily want the end user to be able to access, but only stuff that you're accessing from your routes. Like I'm going to have an API import for creating a user, for example, and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.